The Doll's Curse. In a small, forgotten town, there was a quaint little antique shop run by a mysterious old woman named Agnes. The shop was filled with trinkets and treasures from bygone eras, but one item stood out among the rest: a porcelain doll with hauntingly beautiful features. Her glassy blue eyes seemed to follow anyone who entered the shop, and her delicate lace dress was immaculate, even though the doll appeared to be decades old. Despite its charm, locals whispered tales about the doll. They claimed it was cursed, that it brought misfortune to anyone who owned it. Rumors spread of the doll moving on its own and appearing in places it shouldn't be. But Agnes brushed them off, insisting the doll was simply misunderstood. One day, a young girl named Lily, fascinated by the doll's beauty, begged her parents to buy it for her birthday. Though they hesitated, they eventually gave in, believing it to be harmless. As soon as Lily brought the doll home, strange occurrences began. At night, the soft sound of giggling echoed through her room, and shadows danced along the walls. Lily's parents dismissed her fears, attributing the sounds to her imagination. However, the doll soon began to exhibit a sinister presence. One evening, Lily found it sitting upright on her shelf, its expression slightly different from before. The following night, it was in her bed, as if it had snuck in to keep her company. Lily's attachment to the doll grew stronger. She often whispered secrets to Annabelle, sharing her hopes and fears. In return, she believed the doll spoke to her in dreams, filling her mind with images of a beautiful garden and a sunny day where they could play together. Lily found comfort in the doll, but her parents grew increasingly alarmed as their daughter spent more time with it, neglecting her friends and favorite activities. One afternoon, Lily invited her friend Emily over to play. When Emily saw Annabelle, she felt an inexplicable chill. "I don't like that doll," she said, backing away, but Lily insisted it was just a toy. Later that day, Emily left abruptly, saying she felt sick. That night, Lily overheard her parents discussing how strange things had begun to happen since the doll arrived. They feared it was affecting not just Lily, but everyone around her. The next evening, as a storm raged outside, strange whispers filled Lily's room. She could have sworn she heard a soft voice calling her name, sweet, yet laced with a hint of malice. Terrified, she tried to ignore it, but the whispers grew louder, echoing her fears. Unable to resist, she found herself drawn to the doll, whose glassy eyes seemed to gleam with an unnatural light. In that moment, she felt an overwhelming sense of belonging, as if Annabelle was the only friend who truly understood her. That night, Lily dreamed of a dark, twisted version of her home. In the dream, she wandered through shadowy hallways, hearing the echoes of laughter and cries. The doll was there, guiding her through the darkness, whispering secrets that made her feel powerful. But when she awoke, a cold sweat coated her brow, and she realized the dream was more than just a nightmare. It felt like a warning she couldn't fully comprehend. Then came the day when strange markings appeared on the walls of Lily's room, symbols that seemed to pulse with energy. When her parents discovered them, they were horrified. They took pictures and researched the symbols, finding references to an ancient ritual that hinted at the possibility of possession. The thought that their daughter might be in danger sent chills down their spines. They tried to confront Lily about it, but she was unresponsive. Her eyes glazed over as she held the doll tightly. In the following days, Lily started to show signs of distress. She often spoke to Annabelle in a different tone, as if the doll were responding. One night, her parents woke to find her sitting up in bed, staring at the wall and murmuring in an unfamiliar language. Fearing that something had taken hold of their daughter, they decided to consult Agnes once more. As they approached the shop, an unsettling feeling washed over them. The air felt heavy, and the shop seemed darker than before. Agnes greeted them with a knowing look, as if she had been expecting them. She spoke in hushed tones, revealing that the doll was not just a toy, but a vessel for a restless spirit seeking revenge. She explained how the spirit fed off the fear and energy of its surroundings, becoming stronger with each passing day. Desperate for help, Lily's parents pleaded with Agnes to do something. She agreed to assist, but warned them that tampering with the spirit could have dire consequences. As they prepared for the ritual, Agnes instructed them on how to create a protective circle and called upon the energies of the earth and sky to shield them from harm. Little did they know, the spirit would not let go easily. As days passed, Lily became increasingly withdrawn. Her laughter faded, and she spent hours talking to the doll, which she named Annabelle. Concerned, her parents sought the help of a local priest, who warned them that the doll might be harboring a dark spirit. He advised them to get rid of it immediately. Fearing for their daughter's well-being, Lily's parents decided to throw the doll away. That night, they wrapped Annabelle in a cloth and placed her in the trash outside. But when they woke up the next morning, the doll was back in Lily's room, sitting on her bed, perfectly placed with a smile that sent shivers down their spines. Desperate, Lily's parents confronted Agnes, who revealed the doll's dark past. It was said that Annabelle belonged to a little girl who had tragically died in a fire many years ago. The girl's spirit had become trapped within the doll, seeking companionship and love. However, the spirit's desire soon twisted into something more sinister, feeding on the energy of those around it. Determined to save their daughter, Lily's parents devised a plan. They would perform a cleansing ritual in the dead of night, hoping to release the spirit from the doll. As they gathered supplies, Lily began to scream from her room, pleading for her parents to come. They rushed to her side, only to find her curled up on the floor, the doll clutched tightly in her arms, whispering to it. Panicking, they initiated the ritual, chanting incantations as the doll began to shake violently. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew through the room, extinguishing the candles and plunging them into darkness. The laughter echoed louder, a cacophony of eerie giggles surrounding them. In that moment, the spirit of the girl appeared before them, her face twisted with rage. "You can't take her from me," she screamed. The parents fought to maintain their focus, continuing the chant as the room filled with a blinding light. With a final ear-splitting shriek, the spirit was pulled from the doll, leaving it lifeless and cold in Lily's hands. As dawn broke, the doll was nothing more than an empty shell. The parents hugged their daughter tightly, relieved yet shaken. They buried the doll deep in the woods, hoping to end its curse forever. But even after the doll was gone, Lily's laughter never returned. She remained distant, her eyes often gazing into the void, as if searching for something lost. The family moved away from the town, but the legend of Annabelle lived on. And somewhere in the depths of the forest, the spirit waited, longing for the next soul to fill the void in her porcelain heart.